Training is frequently seen as disconnected from the rest of the company. As a result, misconceptions about training, its roles and outcomes tend to arise both inside and beyond the training department. The most common misconceptions that require modern trainers to debunk are about training circles around that you should be keeping your staff and stakeholders informed. Other common misconceptions that you need to tackle as a modern trainer are: modern trainers can help solve performance issues. Performance is impacted by various factors, and it is impossible to know whether training is the only remedy unless the issue is properly studied. Training doesn't solve all issues, including employee performance. Many companies prefer to refer training for organizational issues. When an issue arises, you must refute this misconception by researching. An individual is a manager or even a process might be the dysfunctional result or reason for the performance issue. Don't fall for the illusion that only providing training will be your organization's issue, and it will fix the organization issues. Corporate modern trainers are often informed when poor performance happen. It is not only bad management that may hurt performance management. There are many other factors involved in terms of hurting the performance. Modern trainers only affect trainees is not true. Although the learners are the first to be touched by training, they are not the only ones. Trainees have an influence on the whole business, including workers, stakeholders, and consumers. Modern trainers can communicate with all learners at the same pace. Many variables determine how successful learners will execute instructions. Past experience, skills, and motivation may all impact the trainee's comprehension of the training program. Modern trainers should not accept learners' mistakes. Mistakes and failures may teach us a lot. It's vital not to fail. It's good to fail when there are many chances to achieve. Allowing errors helps individuals develop improved ways to appreciate achievements. There is no basis for the idea that each set of participants will have the same knowledge if the training topic is the same. Modern trainers ensures that training is offered consistently. It is excellent practice. Adults, however, learn differently. During your training session, it is normal for your learners to hear multiple ideas, concentrate on different interests, and lose concentration. Pretend not to know. It all will be the key to engaging the learners back to you. As an alternative, offer the learners a general overview of the subject matter instead. If you think that all training outcomes are measurable with return of investment, you may need to look again to this idea. It will be easier to justify your ROI or return of investment. Start with things like reduce mistakes or training cost. Your stakeholders should be reminded that soft skills training is sometimes difficult to measure in money in terms of effectiveness and returns. It is up to you to design the program thus everyone can do it. There are several illusions about who can work in training. For example, not everyone can properly train. When it comes to designing training courses, not all your instructional personnel will be able to do so. A prospective training designer should have a good sense of organization, be creative, and comprehend adult learning. You'll be discovered in a person if you seek it. You'll be disappointed if you believe that a good modern trainer would also be a good instructional designer. We just need to train new recruits. This point is off the mark. In sectors with high frontline staff turnover, new employee training is critical. Besides, what about those who choose to stay back in your organization? Do you assist them to advance in their careers through training? Do you give ongoing training beyond what the employer or law requires? Yes, it should be. Develop initiatives that excite and inspire new hires as well as the rest of your workforce to keep those who have remained totally engaged. Employees are fine with self-paced learning and training in their own time is a misconception. Most employees from frontline to management dislike self-paced training that eats into their personal time. Managers do it because it is expected of them. Provide training during work hours, even if they are not standard training. Expect workers to attend classes outside the typical working hours is not realistic in most cases. People will automatically come to you if you build your training program. This notion can be costly. A training facility with cutting-edge technology will not fill your classrooms. Training and word of mouth are sufficient to promote your training program to get seats filled out. Before you develop or renovate a training facility, evaluate your training programs first. Then and only then should you consider updating your facilities to draw in the crowd to attend your training programs. E-learning will replace classroom trainers, and purse holders hope it's true. Modern trainers are worried because when everything is online, why do you need to pay modern trainers to come and train in the classroom? As physical, in-person sessions, nothing can be farther from the truth. Ignore it at your expense. E-learning content must be appropriate to a certain learning outcome. That's it. However, modern trainers will be relieved to know that your classroom training is required as long as actual people are performing your task. E-learning is taking care of people is a common myth. Remember the days when films, VCR recordings, and even DVDs were played to keep high school learners occupied? Be assured that e-learning is different. Employees may be reached through e-learning courses. Surprisingly, e-learning interventions may help individuals retain new information, more so for learners who can review the same e-learning course online a few times for them to continuously learn and remember. An adult learner is a learner typically characterized by being over the age of 25 and possessing characteristics that separate them from the traditional learner population. An individual socially accepted as an adult who is in learning process, interested in lifelong learning, including personal, societal, and skill development is an adult learner. And that is why a student typically 25 years or of age or older is an adult learner who is self-directed, motivated, and active participant in his or her learning process. In all, avoiding and dispelling the misconceptions will give your training solutions and training department the credibility and management support they deserve, regardless if you are a modern trainer employed as an external or internal trainer.